Wendell Berry says that the end of despair is silence. As you enter into Bluefield, West Virginia, driving into the city, you're struck at times by the silence. In the past, Bluefield was really the gateway to the coal fields, the financial hub, financial sector of this entire region. It grew because of the Pocahontas coal seam, which is one of the largest coal seams ever found in the world, with some of the best burning coal. All the coal around the world is measured by how close it compares to the coal here. And Bluefield really was more of a city than an actual producer of the coal. It was the central hub, the shopping district, the economic center. The coal fields were this beautiful melting pot, some of the richest cultural history that you can find. We've talked about the oldest historically black college in America was founded in 1895 in Bluefield, West Virginia. And Bluefield today reflects the results of automation, globalization. A lot of our industries that employed many, many people, many families were sustained by it. They've, during the course of automation, even some industrialization, they figured out how to do it with much less human capital, many less workers involved. So population around here has seen a marked decline. I don't know the exact numbers on Bluefield. I know McDowell County, they say in the early 80s had 100,000 people, and now it's less than 20,000. Andy Crouch talks a lot about the idea of image makers. And what I see in our community is, anything can be automated. And that's the future of our country, but we're kind of the picture of that, of what happens on the other side. And what we've done in Bluefield, what we're seeing here is a return to humanity, a return to image bearers. Machines aren't image bearers, people are, and as we return to that, it's a beautiful thing. I pastor a church in Bluefield, West Virginia, began pastoring about 4 years ago. Much of my career had been in banking, and I'd traveled around to many different places in that field. And as I began to pastor, I was met with many business owners in their church, and I was struck by the fear. Second, third generation businesses that didn't want to shut down the shop on their watch, or how were we going to compete? What are we going to do? As the economy was rapidly changing, how can they survive? And so we began to sit down just as friends, sitting down, and we would brainstorm and try to come up with strategies or things that we could do. And as we did this, the groups, our meetings became more formalized as more people wanted to be a part, and we would once a month get together for lunch, and it quickly grew from a handful of us to 15 business owners to 20 business owners to most of our meetings now are 50, 60 business owners, and I have a network of probably 120 business owners that I'm in contact with on a regular basis. And then a project that we've launched personally is right here in this building. We're sitting in the building that is going to house our future Fab Lab. And a Fab Lab is a project out of MIT, which stands for Fabrication Laboratory, but it basically gives the means of invention to anyone. And I believe that a lot of the biggest issues in Bluefield had to do with poverty, had to do with drug addiction, had to do with broken homes. And all of those are direct results of the economy. So if we want to be the church and to speak into poverty and to speak into broken homes and to speak into drug addiction, then I think we have to address economy. And I think that we're a great place because we have people of all different social structures, people that would maybe throughout the week don't cross each other's paths, people that work in lots of different fields. And that's really what we needed, was people with different eyes looking at these businesses and seeing places that they could operate. And this was what we were able to bring to the table. Part of my inspiration I definitely attribute to Andy Crouch. A few years ago, I came across the book Culture Making, and had never heard of Andy, and never really heard of any of the faith and work movements. I always thought of myself sort of as an outsider with a banker's mind pastoring a church. But as I read Culture Making, and I saw this description of the gospel that entailed all of life, our work, our sense of meaning, our purpose of waking up and going to work. It ignited something inside of me, and it's maybe given me the language to where I can talk about what we're doing. It's gave me the ability to think through what we're doing and see it in a more broad scale picture, but it's definitely helped our church to be able to maybe put the theology behind what we felt like God was calling us to do.